So this video is going to cover the different options for sharing a Google Doc or Google Slide within Seesaw. So first of all, I'm going to start with the file that I want to share. So I went to my Google Drive and I found that file. I'm going to make sure it's shared properly. So I'm going to press share. And I see that anyone with West Contra Costa can view. I'm going to copy that link. Now I'm going to go back into Seesaw. So I'm going to go into my activities creation pane, create new activity. So I'm going to call this Hopes and Dreams Google Doc. Okay, so for now I want to talk about the different options. So I'm going to add it as a multimedia, not a multimedia example, a template for student responses. So you have two options here. You can either upload the file, and what that does is it embeds the Google file within the Seesaw Drawing template. You would use that if you're having students annotate something, like there's a piece of writing that you want them to look at, maybe highlight, add comments, mark up. It would be good for math files. Now, if you're going to have students typing a lot of text, then I would say you want to use the link option. And there's a very specific way that you're going to do that. So I'm going to show you the example of what the uploaded Google Doc looks like later. I want to show you the process of adding the link because it's more involved. So I'm going to click the link. Now, here is where you got to be very careful. So after every Google file, slide, doc, at the end, see a / and it usually says edit and then some other stuff. Delete the edit and the other stuff. Instead, type copy. This is going to force students to make their own copy. So super important, the most important step here. I'm going to press that check mark. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Now I'm going to unlock this and I'm going to move it. I'm going to shrink it down so students will be able to see that link. Now I'm going to give some students some directions here. I'm going to say, click the link to open. You will make your own copy. Okay, now notice what happens when I shrink. I'm going to go back to my finger tool. I'm going to shrink this down. The text gets smaller. I'm going to move it. You will make your own copy. I'm going to continue to edit this. Add your name to the document title. Okay. Then I'm going to add another text box here, and I'm going to use a shape box. I'll use that. And then I'm going to put a text box over there that says, add your file link here. Okay, so let's move that. And I'm actually going to use the link tool to add your file link here. Okay, and I'm going to resize that a little bit. And I'm going to lock this guy because I don't want it to move. And I'm going to lock that guy because I don't want it to move. Okay, so now that's going to be my template for students. It has the link they're going to click on that's going to force them to make a copy, and it has a space for them to add their file link. I'm going to press the check. All right, now I'm going to go back in the student instructions, and this is super important too. So I need, I already gave them instructions on the template. So click on the file to open it. You will be making your own copy. Please add your name to the title. And some kids might ask you for help with that, and that's absolutely fine. You might have to show that in one of your synchronous mini lessons. So they're going to add their name to the title. When you are done with the activity, click, and this is super important, share in the upper right corner of the file. And I'm going to be even more detailed and say click the blue share button in the upper right corner of the file. At the bottom of the options, click West Contra Costa and change the setting from view to editor. Here we go. Okay, so now then I have to add copy, click, copy link. Back in the Seesaw template, add your link in the space provided. Okay, so that's that. So I've got my directions here, and I've got my template attached. Now maybe I might want to, I think I'm going to add a little screenshot of what I'm talking about when they click share. So I'm actually going to go into my test class because I have one here. I'm going to view this Google Doc really fast. I'm going to grab that screenshot. So I'm going to click share. I'm going to click my snipping tool. By the way, I'm going to provide this template for all of you in the district library. So you have this screenshot. Although it should say here, instead of can view, I want to change it to can edit. So let me change this. Whoops, I don't want to copy that link. Okay, well, for now, I'm just going to use what I had. Just for the sake of getting that screenshot. Edit copy. All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to add that as multimedia instructions. Here is the options page for sharing your file with me. I'm going to shrink that down. Make sure West Contra Costa can edit, or at least comment, can comment or edit. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and save that. So just in case kids ask me, what do I click? What should it look like? At least I've attached a little bit of scaffolding for them. All right, so now I'm going to save this. All right, so I'm going to assign it to my class. Okay. So again, don't freak out. I'm going to share that exact template, maybe make a couple of changes to it so that you can just use it over and over and over again. So I'm going to view it in my test class. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to go into my student account so you can see what happens. So I'm going to click over. Here's my Seesaw test class. Let me refresh it. You go into activities. All right, so this is the activity. I'm going to add the response. Here's the template. Click the link to open. You'll make your own copy. Here we go. That's what's happening. I have to make my own copy. I told students I wanted them to add their name at the top. So I'm just going to add Darcy's copy of third grade DLI Hopes and Dreams. Okay, so now they can go through and edit. This is what I think Kid Prez is saying, ... Okay, now I'm going to go up. I'm going to press share. Down here, I'm going to click change link to West Contra Costa. I'm going to change it from viewer to commenter or editor. You can tell the kids what you'd like. Maybe you just want to make comments, so keep it on commenter. They need to copy link. Done. Now they're going to go back into Seesaw. So here, I gave them the space to add their link tool. I'm going to click add the link. I'm going to put in that link. And there it is. They don't actually have to resize it. So there we go. I'm going to click the green check. So I've submitted the work. Now I'm going to go back into my teacher's classroom and show you what that looks like. Okay, so there's my student's work. I'm going to review it. Okay, so remember, I just have to click their file. It's right here. Got it. And because they shared it with me with commenting rights, so I can comment anywhere, that I'd like to, like, please add more details. More details, please. Comment. Done. Okay, so I'm going to close out that file. And again, here, I would send it back to the student because I want them to do more with that work, and that's letting them know. They'll also know when they open up the file again, but I want them to know in Seesaw that they need to go back and edit that work. All right, so let's see, what else? Oh, I wanted to show you what happens if you use just the upload link. So this is what happens. I'm going to click add response really fast. Okay, so notice that it embedded that same Google Doc, but within the Seesaw Drawing tool. So rather than using this space, because look how small it is, and I already had a text box there. So rather than using that, so this is perfect. I can use the annotation tools if I want students to highlight, something that they were reading, or mark it up, or, use arrows, like any of the shapes to point out something that they thought was important. Like if they're reading something, to show, like, this is perfect for doing like a book snap for kids showing what they loved. Math activities would be fine, but for kids typing in these small spaces, adding a text box is a pain. So one workaround would be that you add a text box, but then, okay, so I'm gonna get that hand tool, I'm gonna move it to the side. Actually, I should have shrunk it down first before I did that. But because when you shrink it down, that's how you can get tiny font. There we go. So I'll shrink it down first. Then I can spread that space. And remember, these tools are going to take some time for kids to learn how to use. So in this case, I might even want kids to create a video. All right, so I know I just shared a lot of information. So the first way that I demonstrated was if you want kids to have their own copy of an actual Google Doc that they're going to use within the Google suite of tools. What I just showed you here is uploading a Google Doc or a Google slide into the Seesaw platform. Okay, so it does two different things. They're both very useful to know how to do. So that's it for now. Please email me with questions at dlong@wccusd.net.